How's that? It's Leslie Denny with Leslie Denny Group Fitness. Did that come up okay? Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and see me all right. Just let me know if that's working, because I think something happened in the interim and I'm not sure what did, but we're just going to see if this is working right now. So hopefully it is. And I'm going to give you kind of a snapshot of the beginning of our little thing that we're doing here. That last one I deleted because something was going wrong and I was getting some messages. So if you are online joining us, go ahead and give me a thumbs up that all is good to go. And let me get back to the mat. So I'm going to take a look and I'm going to keep my eye on the screen to make sure that we're all good to go. Really quickly, the phrase that I'm sharing with you today comes from Henry David Thoreau. And it is all about the decisions that we make in life. And it's one of my favorite quotes, and I just failed to bring it out, is pursue some path, however narrow and crooked, in which you can walk with love and reverence. That is so important, to be able to make a decision that is meaningful to you. That when you peel away all of the functionality and maybe the money that you might make from a choice that you're doing in your life, that all of a sudden you know that you're doing something with a passion and a respect for whatever that path is. And that's what I want you to think about today. I'm going to check the screen really fast again and make sure that we are good. Bring them on camera. Okay, I think we're good. If you can give me a thumbs up and let me know that you're hearing me, okay, and you're getting the live feed, okay, that would be really, really helpful. So it looks like Debbie Fernandez is out there. So Debbie, if you can give me a thumbs up and let me know that everything's working good, then just let me know. And in the meantime, what we're going to do is talk about the oil that I chose to work with today. The oil that I'm working with today is pink pepper. And pink pepper, it was actually very treasured by the Incans. It was one of those products that they utilized a lot back in the day. And it is excellent for respiratory and immune systems. So if you've never experienced the beauty of pink pepper, give it a shot, because it's heavenly. It really is. It's nice and spicy, but it's got a little bit of floral in the background. So let's come to a comfortable seated posture. And think about your practice. Is your practice in yoga one that you walk with love and reverence? And just keep taking some deep breaths. And as you think about your yoga practice, broaden the spectrum to your life. Do you live a life of love and reverence? Do you respect the choices that you make? Do you live life with a passion? This is what our yoga practice can bring to us. So as you draw the hands to heart center, just begin to focus on a mantra that is meaningful to you. And just keep repeating that in your mind as you feel the breath moving in and out of your body. And then when you're ready, release to a child's pose. As you sit back to your child's pose, remember that if you'd like to play a little music in the background, feel free to turn that on. And otherwise, just stretch through your body. And then walk the hands over to one side and feel a deep stretch into the side body. And then slowly walk the hands to the opposite direction and stretch. And then release from there and come to your hands and knees and begin cat-cow flow. So as you slope the back in and then arch the back out, just feel that flexion and extension movement through the spine. On Sunday, we did a little lateral movement as well, and we'll do that today just to kind of wake up that spine. And I know that sounds crazy because your spine is awake, but the beauty is that if you really start to manipulate the spine carefully and safely, you'll start to feel a lot of energy start to just really emanate throughout your body. So bring the back to neutral and then kind of kick. It's like you're kicking the midsection out from one side to the other. And just really feeling that extension moving in that lateral stretch from side to side. You might feel that in the hip as well. So just keep stretching. And then as you release from here, push it back to your child's pose and reach the arms out. And then lift up into your downward facing dog. And just give yourself a little bit of pedaling motion through the heels of your feet. I hope through the past several months that you've had an opportunity to experience different oils because they are fabulous. And if you're local to me and you want a sample of something, then just let me know because I am big on offering samples of different types of oils. And if it just comes down to a purpose that you need it for, just let me know. And then go ahead and walk your way to the top of the mat, rounding the back and roll it up. Good. As you anchor your feet hip width apart with the next inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale into your forward fold. Then grab the insides of your elbows and just let the head hang. Maybe bend the knees a little bit as well so that you can feel that stretch through the low back. And then as you release the arms, round the back and roll it up. With the next inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale into your chair pose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale to flat back. And then from there, step back to your downward facing dog. So it may be a little too early to do a flow. So if you want to, you can just hold here and then walk your way back to the top of the mat. If you're comfortable with a flow, bring it forward to your plank, lower, and then find your cobra or upward dog, then press it back to downward facing dog. And then from there, just go ahead and step or jump to the top of the mat, and on an inhale, stretch out to your flat back. Exhaling to forward fold. Inhale, reach out and up. And exhaling, hands to heart center. We're going to do 2 more sun salutations, but we're going to insert that chair flow in the midst of it. So on the inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to your chair pose. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Bring it forward to your plank on knees or toes and work your flow to cobra or upward dog. Then press it back to downward facing dog. Step or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale to flat back. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling, sweep up. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale to chair. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Bring it forward to your plank on knees or toes and work your flow to cobra or upward dog, pressing it back to downward facing dog. Step or jump to the top. Inhale, flat back. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Walking the feet very close together, sink into that close leg chair pose, and then turn into it, anchoring an elbow towards the outside knee. Doesn't matter which direction you go. And then just breathe energetically as you lengthen through your spine. And then release into your forward fold. Let the head hang. Just relax through the shoulders. Keeping your feet nice and tight together. On the next inhale, sink back into that chair pose with hands at Anjali Mudra. And then slowly turn to the opposite direction. Keep stretching out through your spine. And then release into your forward fold. Rounding the back, go ahead and roll yourself up. Coming back to your standing posture. Inhale, reach up, and exhale into your chair. So we're keeping the knees close together as you flow through this vinyasa a few more times. Inhaling, reach up. Exhaling right into that chair flow. So the thing that you want to think about is love and reverence. We always think about our practice with regard to that. If we're simply focused on outcomes with the practice, we're probably not going to really glean what we need out of the practice because we've kind of disconnected with the idea that our mind and our body can work together to determine what we need. We've kind of used our brain to determine what we need. And sometimes, what we think inside our heads isn't necessarily the direction that we need to go. So if you feel uncomfortable with the feet close together, because we've got one more of these flows, then take your feet hip width apart. And then release into your forward fold. Inhale to flat back. And exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Bring it forward to your plank on knees or toes and work your flow to cobra or upward dog. Then as you press back, lift the left leg and stretch it up. Then sweep it forward and rise to high lunge. Just anchor yourself in the pose, and remember, if you've got to readjust those arms or even hold on to that front thigh, you're welcome to do that. So whatever is going to stabilize you in that posture so that you can really embrace it. Then releasing the hands to the mat. See if you can step back to plank on knees or toes. Lower and push right back up. Then press back with a lift of the right leg. Sweep it forward and rise to your high lunge. Readjusting anything that you need to readjust so that you're really engulfed in the posture that feels best to you. Then as you release the hands to the mat, step back to your downward facing dog. Feel free to hold here or work through a flow to cobra or upward dog if you choose. And then pressing it back to downward facing dog. Step or jump to the top of the mat, rounding the back, slowly roll it up. Good. Check in. When you reflect upon your practice, you want to make sure that the choices that you're making are really reflective of that love and reverence that you have for it, just like in life. So just kind of check in for a moment and with your breath and with your thoughts that are running through your head, and just see if you can let go of the things that do not serve you. Distractions, things you can't get to right now, things that happened yesterday or last year, discussions that you had, choices that you could have made and you didn't, all of that stuff, let it go. And then just draw the hands to heart center. And with the next inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, back into your chair pose. Then slowly draw the arms out to the side. Stretch through the fingers, keeping that head down. And draw the hands behind you to clasp and move into your chest expansion with forward fold. And then release right back into your chair pose, sinking those hips down, extending the arms out if you're comfortable to do so. And with the next inhale, press and rise into Samasthiti. Exhale into Uttanasana. Inhaling flat back with an exhale back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Shavasana. Bring it forward to your plank and work through your flow nice and strong with awareness, a passion, and a reverence. And then push back to downward facing dog. From here, step or jump to the top of the mat and then round the back and roll it up. Good. So as we move into a little bit of balance, we're going to be moving into a warrior three, but it's the descending warrior three. So once you anchor yourself into that pose, and remember, use any support around you that you need, keep going down to move into that single leg grip, holding onto the ankle while the opposite leg is lifted. So as you move into your warrior three, arms where you choose. Then keep sinking. Steadiness, be present. And then draw the hands to that standing ankle and lengthen that back leg up. And then slowly release by releasing that opposite foot back down to the mat. Shake your legs out a little bit if you need to. I had a little few wobbles, and that's okay. There is no perfect in life. So we accept what we can, and we embrace what we want to. And we always carve that space around us for those little imperfections. So let's move to the opposite side. Go ahead and anchor and slowly move your way into that warrior three. And then keep descending. Try to hold on to that standing ankle best you can. And then slowly release as you're ready. Good. Shake those legs out. That's a really energetic posture flow into balance. So as you anchor yourself back into your mountain pose, Tadasana, arms down alongside of us, feet anchored to the mat. Just feel your breath moving through you and notice your thoughts. Love and reverence, just like Henry David Thoreau indicated. The passion and the respect that we have for the things that we choose in life carve a wonderful life for ourselves. Just like your practice, choosing the things to do that you love and respect. With the next inhale, sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, release into your forward fold. Inhale to flat back. And then exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Choice of double flow. We did this on Sunday. So if you'd like to bring it forward and do a reverse tricep push-up, then slowly lower and find cobra or upward dog, welcome toing, and then press back to your downward facing dog. And then inhale, lifting up through the left leg, sweep it forward, and again, rise to your high lunge. You can absolutely drop that back knee down to the mat for support. And then from here, draw the arms behind you into chest expansion, staying up high or descending deep into the pose, whichever feels good to you. And as you release, drop the hands to the mat and stretch through that front leg. As you work the back heel into the mat, you're going to get yourself a really great stretch, not only through the top of your foot as our toes are anchored in that front foot, but pressing out through the heel will offer up that great calf stretch. So just take a few breaths. If you want to increase intensity, start to lift the chest out and up. And if you want to use a block to support yourself in that respect, or a big book, you can. So just keep stretching. And then slowly release and push back to your downward facing dog. Work that single or double flow or none at all. So if you choose to not do any flow at all, you're welcome to it. Then lifting up through the opposite leg, bring it forward, rising to that high lunge or kneeling lunge. Just anchoring ourselves for a breath. And then drawing the arms behind us into chest expansion, either high or low. So whatever feels good to you. Love and reverence. What a gold standard to approach life and all the decisions that we make. And with the release of the hands to the mat, keeping those front toes anchored, just stretch through that front leg and push out through the back heel so that you get those two really wonderful stretches. We don't really stretch through the top of our foot very often, and yet it is so good for you because our foot is in constant dorsiflexion where we're walking, and so the toes are being pulled up and we're shortening through all of the muscles at the top of the foot. So it's wonderful to stretch your feet. And then as you release out of it, step back to your downward facing dog. Flow if you choose in any format that you wish. And then as you push back, let's go ahead and come to a seated posture on the mat. How are you doing? So we had a little bit of technical kaflooey in the beginning. That's a technical term too, kaflooey. And so I apologize that this class is going to run a little 10 minutes shorter, but I'll make a notation on the top of the topics page once I load it into our archives after I check it and make sure that everything came out okay. So let's move into Baddha Konasana, and this is such a great pose for the adductors. And it was one of my favorite poses even as a little kid when I used to do this a lot. I always did the rocking motion like this. And then when I started to learn the value of it, because when we start to stretch the adductors on the insides of your thighs, it really makes a big difference for your hamstrings and all the rest of the hip group that you have. So just kind of settle in and take a few breaths. And then as you release from there, stretch your legs out and just kind of pop the knees a little bit. And then we're going to move into our hip stretch. So these are kind of substitutions for our typical pigeon pose where we're face down. And if you want to, use a block as you cross one ankle over the thigh. And then from here, I usually like to set my hands out as I lengthen and push forward into the stretch. Remember, this is the one that for people that have really tight hamstrings on the leg that's lengthened out, you may need to use that block actually behind the knee to relax the hamstrings to access the stretch in the outer hip on the leg that's bent. So just give yourself a few breaths here. And then as you move into your seated twist, you have the option, if you're using a block, by resting the foot on the block and lifting the knee up higher, you're going to access a deeper stretch in the hip. But if that's not comfortable for you, just drop the foot down to the mat. Just grab onto it with the opposite arm and gently twist into it. So last night I posted on Facebook that Merlin and I had a sing-along. We watched Mamma Mia. I didn't jump on board with the Mamma Mia crowd when the movie first came out, but I have to say, I'm kind of hooked. And then release from there and switch it to the other side. Go ahead and pop that ankle across and lean into that stretch. Just finding our way through a practice that works for us and building a practice to help you through life is so meaningful. And I mean, I can guarantee you that I have used my practice to sustain me through some really tough times, to center me, open up my head. And then lifting up through that leg, either on the block or not, your choice, and moving into that twist. Just gives you a little different kind of sensation. And then release from there, and then move right back into Baddha Konasana. So as you draw the soles of your feet together, lean in, and typically when we do a little bit of work for the outer hips, like we just did with a seated twist, and the leaning forward with the leg crossed over, that helps open up the adductors, so everything works together. And just lean in for that stretch. And then as you release from here, we're going to move into double pigeon. And remember, if this is uncomfortable, a great option is to go back here. You can layer the lower legs on top of each other and then lean forward, and that provides you with kind of that double hip stretch on either side. And then release and switch it to the other side. So you'd just be restacking the legs. And typically for most of us, it will feel a little different on one side than the other. And then release from there. Stretching those legs out, move into your forward fold. And if you want to use your strap, feel free to anchor it at the end of your feet, lengthen through your spine, and lean into it. Then check into your thoughts. When we approach a practice or life with love and reverence, what we're really doing is opening up a very important chakra, which is Anya. This is your wisdom, inner wisdom kind of thinking, and it can connect with you to guide you to the places that you need to be in life. And I'm spending a lot of time doing that lately because we have had so many changes. And although this is becoming more of a norm for me with doing the Facebook group, it still feels so funny in many ways. And then release from there and just go ahead and roll yourself down to the mat. As you bring it back to your mat, go ahead and draw both knees to the chest and just rock side to side. Then from here, you have the option to lift into bridge, shoulder stand, any type of inversion that you enjoy. Just be really mindful and very careful as you move into it. Let your sense of self-care and the respect for your practice guide you to where you need to be in these next few moments. Just take a few more deep breaths. And remember, if there's a certain posture that you're really enjoying and you want to spend a little more time there, it's okay. I'm going to give you time to move into any posture that you really do enjoy. So just take a few more moments in this one, whichever one you decided upon. And then gently release. And draw the knees to your chest and just rock side to side. Now draw one knee into the chest and stretch the other leg down. And as you kind of press that thigh or knee up into your chest, take some deep breaths. This is a very energizing posture, good for digestion, good for circulation, good for building awareness. So this is a really great pose to do first thing in the morning or in the afternoon if you get those afternoon blahs where you're feeling kind of, low, like things just bleh. You're getting tired, blood sugar's low, whatever it is. Then this is a very energetic posture to move into if you focus your breath nice and deep. And then go ahead and lengthen that leg up and just stretch. So from here, if you want to take the stretch a little deeper, hold on to the leg, chin to chest, and roll it up. And then as you release from there, draw that leg out to the side. And remember, use your strap if that gives you the support that you need. And just open up. And then as you lift the leg, go ahead and bring it over to the other side. Make any little adjustments that you need to for your hips. And then bring that leg across and twist as you lengthen through the spine. And then release from there. And coming back to center on the mat, squeeze the opposite knee into your chest. Breathing deep. Full awareness. When we have full awareness, there are no exterior interferences to distract you. You're totally connected to what's happening within your mind and your body and your spirit. And then lengthen the leg out, holding on to it here or rolling up to bring it up a little deeper in that stretch. And then just anchor into the stretch with strap or what have you, and then bring the leg out to the side and just opening up through the hips. And then bring the leg up and cross it over to the other side. Make any little adjustments that you need to for your hips so that you get into a good twist, and then take a couple of deep breaths there. And then what we're going to do is just take a moment for you to move into any final posture that you need for your body. And everybody's different, so just take one more breath there. And then go ahead and release and move into any posture that feels really good to you. And remember that sometimes Shavasana is exactly what you need. So if that's the posture that you need to roll into, feel free to do that as well. And just take a few deep breaths. Still got a couple of things that we're going to be doing, so just enjoy whatever posture you're in. And if you're starting to feel like you need a little additional relaxation at the end of your practice today, you can begin your Shavasana posture now, if you'd like. And if you feel like that one pose that you're experiencing that's kind of resonating with you is something you want to work on a little bit more, feel free to do that. Otherwise, for those like myself that might pop up and say, well, I don't know what to do, then just go ahead and start sitting in that upright seated posture and circle the upper body around. Just relax through your jawline and feel the breath moving through you. And then change the direction that you're circling. Good. And then if you're still moving into Shavasana early, feel free to keep going. Just relax your body and focus on that. If you're seated upright with me, just place the two first fingers right to the space at your forehead between your eyebrows and close your eyes. This is our position of Anya, but it's in the brain, it is in the mind. And it is our senses of intuition, this inner wisdom that we have to guide us through our life. And for some of us, we may feel like we need guidance right now in our practice, in our life, in our decisions that we're making. Just imagine a violet light shining bright, illuminating your entire mind and body from top to bottom, maybe emanating outward. And then as you relax, go ahead and roll yourself down to the mat. The first tone that I will play with the singing bowls is actually geared towards Anya, your third eye. So as you recline to the mat, just imagine that you are engulfed in a violet light. Just feel like your mat beneath you is violet. There's a cloud of violet light that's surrounding you, holding you, cradling you. And then just let your body relax into that space. Pursue some path, however narrow or crooked, in which you can walk with love and reverence. I'll play the bowls and the rain stick a little bit as you start to dial into your Shavasana, and just keep letting go. And when it's time to come back, I will come for you. Take a breath and give yourself a little bit of a stretch. Maybe move your fingers and your toes and roll over to one side and just take a few breaths right there. And then gently push yourself back to an upright seated posture. And let's draw our hands at heart. Sometimes a path may feel uncomfortable. It's kind of like going on a hike and we decide to walk down one less traveled route that is rocky and difficult to get over, and yet at the end of it is sometimes the most beautiful sight we would never have seen had we not chosen that path. That is life. So if you're headed down a path right now that feels a little uncomfortable and a little rocky, maybe see it through, because if you do have love and reverence for that path that you chose, chances are you're going to land exactly where you need to be. Lokaha, samistaha, sukhinyo bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy, free, and at peace. Namaste. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for joining us today. I hope this day works out to be exactly what you need.